here we are. It's the 40th anniversary of the Roc d'Azur CIC. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. The event began with the arrival of the sport in Europe. The first mountain bikes arrived in France. A few enthusiasts who imported them, American practices at first, who started riding them and started creating small gatherings, who started creating an event. Initially, it's a gathering of enthusiasts, a gathering of people who wants to ride together. The Roc d'Azur, an iconic event in the world of mountain biking, is celebrating its 40th edition today. 40 years of adventure, sharing and innovation. The event began to grow. The event is structured around mountain bike disciplines. Bikes have started to be distributed more widely and are becoming more mainstream. There's a massive evolution between the first Roc with its 7 participants at the start and what we know today. We've seen the evolution of mountain biking, which has become more professional and, as a result, increasingly similar to road racing in terms of media impact and technological impact. The practice expanded and diversified, with something for everyone. And next to this, it's the technical development of mountain biking and innovations that made the bike evolve and the sport evolve. It's true that in the area, the nature base is a great place to set up. We can set up a few logistics, we can set up a reception area, and then head out into the massifs, mainly the Moors Massif, which was originally shaped to go out onto the trails. We have seen the arrival of practices such as gravel, which are a little more recent. Mountain biking has come on very strongly from the United States. It's a growing trend. It was a little wink for the 40th anniversary, starting from Ramatuelle and heading for Fréjus. It's a change that the start isn't in Fréjus, so we can visit places and explore places we don't know. One step closer to the head. We are warriors, we rule around the main. Yeah, keep our heads up high, pushing on like a chugging train. It's great to see the beginnings. 40 years ago, this was the starting point for the first edition. It's great. And I don't know the trails at all, so it'll be a chance to discover them. I can't wait to go. It's going very, very well. It's really beautiful. And frankly, we're having great conditions. At the start, I was determined to go all in. But then I met up with my partner here and we did the race together. Yes, it's a lot of fun on this course. It's not wet. It's really only at the end where we catch up with the mountain bikes where it's a bit dirtier. But otherwise it's pretty nice. First participation, and certainly not the last. The Rock d'Azur has become the must-attend event at the end of the season. A popular event that brings together competitors, amateurs, enthusiasts, and all mountain bike fans. I've taken part in 29 editions over the last 30 years. I've only missed one. Otherwise, I'm always happy to be here. There are autograph sessions on Fridays and Saturdays, and this allows us to really share with the rest of the riders. It's also a time when everyone gets together. All the categories get together, which in fact never happens throughout the season. And it's also a time for sharing with the young, the old, the brands. It's an opportunity for us to be next to all the players in the bicycle and cycling economy, because we've got virtually all the major players here. It's also a chance to meet the riders. It already evokes a great resilience. It means that mountain biking and off-road cycling are not just a trend. It also means that in 40 years' time, it'll probably still be around. It's great to see an event that has managed to establish itself over time. The Rock d'Azur has a special place for us, as it enables us to promote all Shimano systems dedicated to mountain biking and electric mountain biking. It's an obvious partnership, because Ikoyi is based in Fréjus, and the Rock d'Azur is the world's biggest mountain bike event, so we play at home. So this partnership is really a no-brainer. It's great to see this event growing, and always exploring new avenues. Indeed, there's been the arrival of gravel with the gravel events. There's the hiking. There are events now with the triathlon. There are events this year. It's the first year they're doing a road cycling event. In the cycle market, you can have several bikes, or you can have a mix of bikes depending on where you live. And the season, you can change wheels, or you can change bikes and have different practices. Today's mix of practices means that the Rock d'Azur has evolved into an all-bike operation to satisfy all cyclists. The aim is to differentiate the races. Because it's 5 days, we've got a lot of races. So there are competitions, races, hikes, different distances and different gradients. We try to put a technical note on each event so that people understand what they're getting into. We don't want competitors to sign up for events that don't suit them. So the marathon has been lengthened a little. We've added an interesting loop, both in terms of landscape view and technical difficulty. It's a really beautiful and complete course. There's a bit of everything, from steep, technical or fairly rolling climbs to some pretty challenging descents. An aperitif, 50 years. We're giving ourselves the challenge of doing the marathon. I think it's going to be complicated because we're going to have to take down the 103 kilometers. It started out as a bit of a con. We thought, why not do the Ford Rock Marathon during a party? And then we trained all summer and we're really here now.
Bien différent par rapport aux distances des années précédentes.
It's my first time here, so I'm a bit nervous. But it's the end of the season, and I'd like to do well here and finish the season well. The terrain here is very dry and slippery, and the descents are steep and the climb's not easy, because there's often a storm rut in the middle of the path. So you have to choose your side. You have to cross it when you don't have any grip. When you're a bit short physically, it's not easy. The playground is simply magical. We have a great time on all the trails. The atmosphere here is cool. It's hot. I wish everybody would come here. We like to come from Sun because it's one of our last end-of-year vacations. So here, in this second zone, we give out water bottles, we give out gels, and we're there to help out with any technical problems. What keeps us coming back is the setting, the good weather and the warm atmosphere offered by the rock. If you like cycling, you have to come at least once in your life. If you like cycling, it's a very beautiful course. I was expecting it to be a very rolling race. For the marathon, I didn't think it was going to have any technical descents or climbs, but I was pleasantly surprised. Swiss Casey South wins the sprint ahead of Fabian Rabensteiner and Belgian champion Wout Alleman. So the first two were too strong for me today. Did they start very, very fast? Yes, during the whole race. Loana Lecomte, winner of the Ford Rock Marathon. In the girls category, Loana Lecomte dominated the race ahead of Sandra Meyerhofer and Christelle Baumann. It was hard at the end. 5 hours. That's fine. Over 5 hours is too much. There needs to be a balance between what everyone else does and something a little spectacular that allows us to dream and see beautiful images. We're in Fréjus at the Rock Cruel. It's a race where you go round in circles in the street and pass the baton to each other, and there are lots of stairs. Le Rock Cruel is the perfect way to create an event in town. Sit on the terrace, eat your pizza, and watch those brave enough to take the stairs. That's it. You need a show too. This year, I think it was having a cape. Yeah, because a cape is so cool. Impressive. And it's nice with the night lighting. The guys are really good at it. It's a great event. It's great to have a drink with friends, with cyclists who pass by and you cheer them on. And at the same time, you have a good time. Today, there are two major market trends: gravel and electric assist bikes. I think it's an extraordinary thing because it allows many people to popularize the activity a little. If you have health problems or are not in top physical condition, this means you can go on longer outings. In terms of age, it helps a lot. At 58, it begins to be harder. The day I have a health problem. As I get older, I'm sure I'll switch to an electric bike to keep cycling. I'm 60 years old and I'm paralyzed in one leg, so I push with one leg and a half. I have an adapted pedal, so that's why electric. And then, at 60, you don't have the energy you had when you were 20.
Ok, merci.
We're on the second course of the electric enduro. The electric bike allows me to get to the top and enjoy the descent. It's revolutionizing the sport. In fact, for me, it's fun cycling, another discipline. First of all, the links between the courses are really relaxing. If you want to take it easy on the climb, and there are certain sections where, in spite of everything, you really need it for the little relaunches between the rocks and all that. It's not bad at all. I turned 40 in March, so why not celebrate the Rock's 40th birthday and bring myself some luck? I took part in the Rock 35 years ago, when there were 60 of us from the Vélo Lagrange club in Ramatuelle. The star was in the sand, but the atmosphere was the same. It's the same, only bigger today. It's a real challenge to maintain the family spirit of Le Rock on an event that has grown from 7 people 40 years ago to 20,000 today. So hats off to you all. The whole family comes and the kids race to get stickers, goodies and tattoos. They do events, little sports challenges, and they love it. For us, the Rock d'Azur is an event we come to every year because we have a dad who rides enduro, who rides the Rock Noir afterwards. For the first year, we've got the little one riding on the kid rando. My very first participation in the Rock d'Azur, it was in '96. I was a cadet, 15, 16 years old, and it was a great party. I was living in the Vosges at the time. We'd go down with my parents, and I remember, even after the race, we'd take a dip in the sea before going back up to the Vosges to go back to school the next day. The Rock d'Azur is a good time. You spend a week camping, staying in a guitar or apartment. We meet up with friends and colleagues, and spend time with the family too. It's a popular family event, and it's great to see families. We also came as a family to enjoy the show and the events, and to spend part of the weekend here. I came with my 2 boys because the kids' race was on, and we supported a friend who was there. We came here as a family with my son, my husband and my daughter, and we came to have a good time, to do some hiking. On the Côte d'Azur, we share a rather great weather for October. There's a whole recipe, a whole set of things that make this Rock d'Azur a must, and which can't be duplicated anywhere else. It's the festival of cycling. Since I was a little girl, I used to come here with the club to do Kid Rock. Then I did all the other races, cadets, juniors. I even did the tandem one year. Volunteers are an essential part of the event, of course. Once again, thank you to the volunteers. They smile. So when someone greets you with a smile, all of a sudden the weekend takes on a friendly, fun aspect, and that helps a lot. Yes, it's essential. So here we are at the Fréjus Nature Base for the 40th Roc d'Azur. The World Cup season has just finished, so the riders are still very much in peak form, with a series of World Cups in the USA and Canada. Some of the front runners are highly motivated to fight for victory. It's always a prestigious victory. Winning the Roc d'Azur rounds off the season in style.
Il y a 20 minutes d'essai dans la touche.
Now we're on
Là, on
the
est dans la
Fournel
descente du
descent,
Fournel,
so
donc
it's
c'est
quite
mythique.
mythical. It's a bit of Roc d'Azur folklore, so to see people struggling a bit, to support them. We don't expect them to fall, but it's always impressive to see them go down this type of course. It's a very technical descent, very steep and impressive to see too, when you know what it's like on the bike going downhill. It's a sight to behold. We're lucky. It's been raining, and when it rains, it takes a little more and a little more grip, so we know that it'll fall a little less and skid a little less.
Il est chaud, il est chaud.
We ride quite fast nowadays. Now that bicycles have greatly evolved, the route has evolved less than the bicycles, so it could be considered technically difficult a few decades ago. Now, with today's bikes, you can ride very, very fast on these trails. And even though it's pretty rough and rocky here in the south of France, the 29-inch wheels and double suspension mean you can go at some decent speeds. After leading the entire race, Mathis Azzaro was overtaken in the last 500 meters by Jordan Sarrou, who won the 40th Roc d'Azur CIC ahead of Mathis Azzaro and Joshua Dubar. Belgian champion Emmeline Detillieux scored her first Roc d'Azur victory, beating Italian riders Sandra Meerhofer and Greta Sewell. Yes, having a good time in the sun was a real pleasure. Thanks to the volunteers, otherwise we wouldn't be here without them, and to the organisers too. So I hope to be there again in the years to come. And now for a little vacation. I'm quite happy with my race today on the Roc d'Azur and quite happy to take the victory to end the season. The race went very well. It's longer than we're used to on cross-country, but I kept up my effort and didn't want to overdo it too early in the race. But I was able to make the difference technically, and that's what enabled me to win with a small lead. Once again, thank you to the volunteers, because without them, we wouldn't be here. We're very, very proud of the 40-year base, but we need to evolve. What's next? Expanding into the whole field of cycling is great, because there are no more boundaries. I do mountain biking, I do road biking, I do other things. We're cyclists, and we touch on a bit of everything, even if some of us are specialists, and we mustn't spoil their pleasure as specialists. The identity of the ROC and its evolution will be achieved with everyone, with the region, with the riders and with the brands, in order to move towards a natural evolution desired by all.